Are you in nail jail? You've got nowhere to go. You're only locked into one service or one type of style and you can't get out. We're going to help you with that right now on the Biz Talk. I don't know about nail jail, but Tracey, when I come to work and I walk in the door, and you're sitting over there on the couch, sometimes I feel like I'm in prison. Get me out of here, God, please. Ah. And then I look down and I have like nail cuffs, right? Not handcuffs, but they're like sculpted acrylic. Get it? Yeah. We're a nail company, you understand? And they're like nail cuffs, and I feel like I can't get out, man. But then I go, and I break through, and I turn into the Hulk, and I make my way through the day because that's the kind of guy I am, sister.
It's funny. I feel like a correctional officer a lot around here.
Actually, you know what? That kind of fits. Like, don't do that. What are you doing? Greg, clean up your table. Look at that desk.
Dude, come on.
Greg, come on, bro.
How many times do I have to clean that thing?
I mean, here's what's scary is I'm sitting about, not to get off topic, we'll get on this topic, but just, this is important, guys. Okay. I'm about 25 feet from Greg's desk, which is a decent amount. Bro, it is covered in stuff. I look over at the one next to Tracey's desk. It is clean.
You know what, Vic? I'll take some pictures so you can put them
here. Yeah, take some pictures.
Tracy's
Greg's.
And you know what's scary? Because he does lives.
He does lives every day.
And I can hear him
shuffling,
boom, 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 and running over to my desk, stealing stuff, boom, boom,
but
boom,
everything,
and going back.
Everything is at his desk. That's why he can't find it, because it's all there.
It's all there.
Yeah.
Because I stalk his desk.
So he keeps, what he's doing is he keeps adding more to his desk, and then he can't find it because it's messy, and then he goes back and grabs more. There should be an episode on Greg's desk. We do one of these days. Greg's desk. Greg's desk. That's the intro to the Greg's desk episode.
I like it.
All right. Nail gel. First of all, let me explain what we mean by nail gel. So you're a nail professional and literally you do one type of service, right? For example, maybe your salon only does manis and pedis, right? Manicures, pedicures. Yep. You really want to kind of explore out and do
break free, man,
and do acrylic, nail art enhancements, but you're confined to doing that.
Okay.
And maybe someone throwing like 80 situations. It could be either because your market doesn't want it. I think we should talk about that, Trace. And then, or you're scared, like to break out. Let's talk about that first, right? Like, how can somebody start to explore? Like, maybe you only do acrylic or you only do gel. How do you start to kind of like break out of the nail jail, not nail gel, although that would be funny. How do you do it?
Don't be scared.
Done. Episode's finished.
No, but we see this a lot. And this is actually the first day of OWC. I talk about this, and I talk about how, especially when we first come out of school, we're very scared to do anything. You know, they've taught us how to do pretty much a mani-pedi, you know, not a fancy one, but you get the concept. Like, you can next day out of school go in and do a manicure or pedicure, right?
Mani-pedi, yep.
And it's very scary to break out of that and go, okay, now I'm going to do artificial. I don't know how to do artificial, you know, and I'm going to screw some things up. And so then you go, you know what? I'm going to fix this. I'm just not going to do it.
Right.
And so you have Habib that's coming out of school, and I'm going to do manicures and pedicures. And Habib comes out of school and he goes, you know what? I'm going to screw some things up. I'm going to take my licks. I'm going to pay my dues. And 6 months later, Habib is comfortable with doing artificial. I'm still scared.
Right.
I never broke out of that. So it just keeps growing and it keeps growing. If you don't just jump in, screw some things up, you're stuck in that jail.
You know what's interesting about that too, Tracey, is that the person that sort of like takes the hits initially and screws things up, you start to build an immunity, right,
Yeah.
to that. Like you get used to that. So then you're like, well, cool. I learned acrylic. Well, I want to learn how to do hard gels.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
you're
gonna
like,
screw some things up there.
it's cool. I did it before with acrylic. So they both feed on each other, right? Like one feeds on itself positively where you're like, dude, I've done this before. And then you're literally building a nail experience for customers that offers everything,
Yeah.
right?
Expanding
Versus expanding your income too, versus like you're staying scared and you're only offering manis and petties.
So basically, you're in jail.
You're in jail.
You are afraid to try to push the door open because what if it's locked and what if they catch me on the other side? Habib walks up and he just pushes the door open and walks out.
Right.
No longer in jail.
No longer in jail. Exactly. I think, aren't there a lot of there's a lot of salons that just do mani-pedis, aren't there?
There are.
I mean, most offer additional. Is that correct?
Most offer. I mean, I'm not saying they're not out there. And I know that there are people that I only specialize in natural nails, and they've kind of made a thing of it, like which is great.
It's their niche, right?
Yeah. But again, I have seen it a lot coming out of school, and it's interesting because they'll walk up to me and they'll say, I only do natural nails because I don't want to damage the customer's nails, and I'm not, and I would never do that, and I would never use electrophile. And I'm just looking at this person going, you're just scared.
Yeah.
99% of the time. I know that someone's out there going, that I do only natural nails, and those are the very reasons. But a lot of people out of school say that, and unfortunately, they're not in the career anymore.
Yeah. It's kind of like if you say to that person, you go, okay, well, let's just play this game for a second.
Yeah.
What if I can magically make you do acrylic, gels, nail art, and you learned how to do it, keeping the natural nail totally healthy? Would you be interested?
Yeah.
Like you're not going to say, no,
I'm going to
dude.
snap my fingers and you'll be able to do that.
Right. And keep the natural nail perfectly intact. Would you be interested in then, what are they going to say? No, because
I still believe. And again, there are people out there that they have specialized in it. Maybe that's all your salon offers, and you found your kind of niche. I would imagine they probably started out doing acrylics and artificial and decided that's what they want to do. But what I'm trying to say is you have shortened or narrowed your market
big
a
time.
lot.
Huge. And like, I'm not trying to like poke fun.
Mm-mm.
Like if you're in that spot and you're not breaking out, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to like open up, and obviously Tracey is too, like your sort of like your mind and awareness to like, dude, let's get you onto other services. Let's get you out of nail jail so that you can make more money. It's always, for us, it comes down to that. Like, how can we get you to make more money and have a more successful career? Well, one way is to add more services. Yeah. I mean, period, end of story.
So I guess the ones we're talking to, if you're sitting there watching this going, I wish I was making more money. I wish I was living on the outside.
Totally.
Those are who we're talking. Now, if you're the person that's like, I have a great career, I'm making all the money I want, and I'm doing manis and pedis, and that's my specialty, we're not talking to you.
Right, exactly. And even like, if you are that person, I still like, you're not in nail jail, obviously, if you're making money and you have a great career, but why not expand? Maybe you're in mental nail jail, so to speak, like in terms of like, are you getting bored? Right. Are like, you're doing the same thing every day. To Tracey's point, if you are like, yo, I am happy and I love doing mani-pedis and I love the routine and I love the consistency, then yes, we're not talking to you. But if there's any voice in you that's like, God, I just, I'm kind of starting to get a little bored or burnt out, it's time to start expanding your services.
You know what? It's harder to make a career off of manis and pedis, again, because you narrowed it. Plus, the maintenance isn't there, Habib.
Yeah, right.
So they are free to kind of come in
right
whenever they want.
Right.
Where artificial, there's maintenance involved in it.
Totally.
So you're pretty much guaranteeing that you're going to see them within 2 to 4 weeks, again and again and again and again. Where manicures and pedicures, I go to the same spot pedicures, but it is random, total random.
Right.
You know, so it's harder.
Dude, that is such a great point. You are locking in. It's kind of like even once you start adding nail art, right? And you start customizing sort of your style and your way of doing nail art, there's only one place they can come and get that.
Yeah.
It's with you. You guys talk about that all the time. And this is kind of that's that first step, right? Yeah. If it's almost like manis and pedis they're a commodity. It's like, well, I can go to Walmart. I can go, I mean, I'm not comparing any nail tech to Walmart. Please don't. I'm comparing a commodity in terms of like, if I need to get hand soap, you know, if I need to get a supply, I can go to any store, you know what I mean? But if I want to get a little bit more specialized, like acrylic, you have to come back, and there's that maintenance. That's a huge factor, man.
Yeah, it is huge. And believe me, with manicures and pedicures, you can, for instance, I moved to San Luis Obispo, and I'm trying to think of how long ago this was. It's been a long time, probably 15 years ago. It's been a while. And I charge $65 for manicures and $85 for pedicures. Starting.
Wow.
So good money. I'm making good money. But again, that maintenance issue.
Yeah.
You know, I also did artificial, but that's what the artificial was even more.
Yeah. Of
course.
And like, you know, of course, I'm not, again, you know, like there are people that are going to come to you because of you and your personality and the way you do a manicure and the way you do a pedicure. And so you can have some specialization. I just think the more specialized you can get in terms of, it's kind of a weird thing, right? Because what we're saying is like, don't stay so specialized in one type of service, but you should start specializing in different areas, you know?
But I totally get what you mean, because for instance, I kind of compare it to pink and whites for me.
Yeah.
I had a full clientele with pink and whites. I could not stand doing another pink and white.
Right.
And that's why I got into art. Was it necessary at that time? No, because I had a full clientele that did pink and whites.
Right. But you were getting bored.
Oh my God. If I had to do another one, I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
I needed something else to get me excited.
Totally. About
my career.
So let me ask you this, Tracey. What about a situation where someone, you know, wants to, let's say they did mani-pedis. Let's say their main service is mani-pedis, but they can do acrylic and they can do gel, but their market maybe doesn't allow. I'm going to say doesn't allow. Maybe their market is like, that's just what gets done in their area, but they're like, dude, I'm in nail gel. I want to break out. I want to start doing, like, how can they start
be a trendsetter? It's actually a pretty good spot to be in.
It is a good spot to be in.
Because no one else is doing it.
Totally.
So how are we going to set ourselves apart? We're going to pull our friends that are visible out in the market. You're going to give them some really cool, maybe if it's more natural nail, let's do little fairly short almond nails with some cool art in it. And believe me, all of a sudden people are going to be like, yo, where'd you get that done?
Where'd you get that done?
And they're going to be like, oh yeah, and these last this long, and my polish doesn't chip, and I love them, and they're, you know, yeah, that's going to set you apart. So you're almost kind of in a good spot.
I could not agree with you more. I think if you're in a much better situation, because can you, in a town, let's say there's a I don't know, smaller town, let's say there's like 100,000 people in the town, which is relatively small, and most people get manis and pedis. You're telling me there's not 100 people, 110, 120 people that want to be different and get like some dope nails? Yes, there are.
Maybe it's just there's no place to go that does it. That's why everybody's getting manis and pedis.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing that feeds on itself too. Yeah. You know what I mean? It keeps feeding, but then you break out and you become that tack and you start wearing it, and dude, you're going to get so much attention.
So much attention.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's such a better way to build, you know what I mean? It's
and it's fashion forward, right? So you
totally.
you are the trendsetter now, and people ask, and I'm like, well, I'm following trends. Like, I want to be up to date. I want to have style.
Yeah.
You know.
And if so, there's a couple different situations, you know, that we're talking about, and even if maybe your skill level's not there, let's say, but you want to, and even if your market is not that. I mean, I hear that all the time, you know, like, well, my market is, I have an older clientele, and that's fine. The older clientele, if they pay well and they're good, then
they're the wild ones.
Really?
Swear. They are the wild ones. They are like, you know what? I've lived my life. I want glitter. I want flames. I love it.
Wow.
Yeah, they're usually the ones you can get to kind of,
dude,
go on the edge.
I love it, as you should. But even if you're in a spot of like, I'm going to build my skill, you know, at the same time, try to build awareness of my brand in this market, and I'm going to do enhancements, even though they're not popular. That's a situation that you might be in as well, you know, and you absolutely should. I agree with you 100%. I think you're in a much better sitch there than the other spot.
You're unique at that point.
Very much so.
Know, another nail gel I thought about, what about like you're working in a salon where you can't grow?
Oh, that's interesting. Like they only do this type of service?
Yeah, or maybe they're not doing social media. They're not doing anything to promote. They're not, you know, it could be kind of a nail gel in itself, but you're kind of stuck because you're like, fear of the unknown.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I would do. I would get out of that salon.
Yeah.
I would get out of that salon, and I would look to build my my business, you know, or find, if you're not the person that's like, you know what, I don't want to do my own thing, I still want to be an employee, which is fine. You got to find a place then. You need to be on the lookout and find a place.
Here's the thing with techs, I find they are so afraid to move salons. What if I don't like that salon? Well, move again. They do,
right.
They don't like that. They think that doesn't look good. No, who cares?
Yeah.
You move until you find the right spot for you.
I agree with you.
It is interesting. There is this like, well, I can't move salons more than one time. That, you know,
there's no law or rule that states that.
Yeah.
So until you find a place that vibes and you're happy, you have to do that.
You have to do it.
100%. Let us know in the comments below any experiences you have with what we've been talking about, being in nail gel. I keep wanting to say jail. Jail. You're rubbing off on me, Trace. And I think it would help anybody that's going through the situation. Let us know your experiences, and also any topics, ideas, whatever you want us to talk about, put them in the comments too. Thank you so much, Tracy.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time on the Biz Talk.